started it. Okay. Baby coming around the mountain. Coming around. Baby coming around, don't they? Okay. I don't know which way. I don't know where my AirPods went, but 3 minutes in, and I haven't got a word out yet. Okay, so I have very good imagination, okay? I actively use my imagination to be creative and stuff. Like, I think it's really important to do that so that you are good at differentiating reality from creative thinking. Here comes my kid. Yeah, where are you gonna go?
We're probably gonna walk around and then go water first, so I'll text you.
Okay. Oh, you got a little pimple? Aw, I see.
Probably just bug bite.
Uh-oh. Okay, love you. Mwah. Yeah, creative imagination. Being a person with past experience with like hallucinogenics, we have been taught that would mean that somebody would be less apt to tell the difference between, you know, hallucination or imagination versus like hard facts, reality and stuff. But I'm here to say that's not my experience. I think that there is a level of separation of, you know, like there's differences between people's perceptions of reality, and the perceptions of you know, like values and ethics will change people's opinions of like what is right and what is wrong. And historically we have found that cultures that are using like a shared, you know, collaborative values system, morals and value system, they are more likely to succeed and, you know, like thrive. Whereas communities and societies where they don't have a mutually agreed upon like moral and value system, there is going to be chaos. Like there's going to be strife, and it's, I mean, even if there's, you know, a million people, even if there's a million people, and out of that million people there are, you know, like 20 that are insane and just crazy, like, then, you might see a world through that lens, seeing those 20 people scattered doing crazy things, and think, this world is insane. Like, we're basically like little robots, like little squishy robots. It's kind of like how I see us, with like a different kind of hardware system that like a creator would want there to be a hardware system that could, like, you know, like mend. And I imagine a very hard and rigid life form, it would be easier, harder for them to mend. I'm just like, I'm freeballing right now, like, but like it makes sense that we, you know, like if there's a creator, which I believe, like we were created, and there's a lot of different, like, there's so many different, like, well, creations, but like different variations of humans, just like dogs. Have you ever like wondered, like, the part where they're like, oh, this dog is really good at this, and this dog was really good, and this dog was bred for this. And it's like, you kind of wonder, like, did the creator do that with people? Like, you know, I don't know. But my imagination gets a workout, you know, and I really enjoy like the word problems and stuff. Like when I was a kid, those puzzle books, and they'd have like the word problems, and it would say, like, if you had one boat and you had this many people and you need to get everybody across, like, you know, you need to get everybody across, like how many trips would it take, like those kinds, like with it written out. Like as a kid, I liked doing those and like breaking it down. And like I still, you know, I'm not doing it like in a book. Maybe I should not. But like I'm still, you know, like taking in the inputs, you know, like there's stuff happening all around us all the time. And so, you know, when I'm paying attention to the world, I, you know, can come up with storylines. Like I could be at the beach and like see people and just like come up with like, what's the story, like what's their day like, because it's like a creative exercise, you know. Like I'm not saying that's actually what their day is like, you know. Like it's a thing to help you exercise. I believe if you're doing it right, it'll help you exercise what is fact and what is fiction. Like you can look at a person and hypothesize, and I think it would be important to like meet them and ask them and be like, okay, so like what is your day like? And like, oh my gosh, I totally had it wrong, like I thought it would have been like this. And like there's nothing wrong with having a conversation like that, but we're raised in an environment that's like, oh no, we have these rules, don't say this, don't say that, don't do this, don't do that, and the reasoning for it is obscure and sometimes lost. And so you know, like I've gone through life with that active imagination, and I think I do a really good job of not walking around with like accusations and stuff. And you know, and the times when I do get to where like I need to verbally process, like I go to trusted people, you know, like I go to my family, go to my sisters, you know, and like I don't think that we should be expected as humans to like never say anything to anybody ever, but we also need to know who we're talking to, and like you need to have a connection with them, because like what I've learned is, you know, like people can take things out of context, or if they don't have all the pieces of you, like they might not really understand reasoning, and looking through their own lens of their own reasoning, they might not even be able to conceptualize any piece of your life or experience or, you know, reasonings. And so you know, over the last several years, like especially this last year, you know, I definitely kept that in mind. You know, I've gone through an emotional breakdown, and where like I couldn't stop crying. Like I had to get medication that would like help me like turn that part off, which I was really worried would like make me like a robot or something. It's not that I like don't cry ever. It's just that I'm not so sensitive, and I imagine I'm probably closer to like what an average, you know, person who's been raised with healthy environments and stuff would like what their capacity would be like. I feel like I'm getting closer to that, and it's because of a medication. And I want to talk about medication a different time. So I keep this in mind, you know, like as I go through med changes, and as I go through custody battle, and I go through, you know, just like hormonal changes because I'm getting older, and life circumstance changes, and you know, and I having come from a past, or a I guess what's the word, like coming from experience, where I'm kind of hungry. Like I just totally looked at the camera. Like I hate it when that happens. I think I might just need to like cover the part as far as it just sees me. But yeah, like we all go through all kinds of different, you know, life circumstances that add stress and pressure, and you know, I know like we are in a day and age where there's a lot of extra stress and pressure that I've been told previous generations didn't go through. Wasn't there, I don't know for sure, but I know that, you know, like I definitely have had a good deal of more extreme life experiences that, you know, are just saved in my memory banks, you know, and like all of us have. And so over the last year or so, as I've moved, you know, gone from homelessness into home, and went through med changes, and I lost my dad, and that's like a big stressor. And you know, like with that comes family strife a lot of times, and being a person with, you know, a history of like not good coping skills, but also a history of good coping skills, you know, like I had a lot of bad coping skills, and then I changed my behaviors, and I changed my thinking, and then, you know, like life changed and it got better. But I, you know, I still have the memories and stuff from the bad choices, and you know, like no matter what we say, like it's in the back of my mind. It's not like I forget, you know, and I choose to focus my attention on more grounded, present moment things when I start to feel overwhelmed and bombarded by feelings of guilt and shame and remorse. Because for 7 years or more, you know, like I carried that with me, and I just kept harming, you know, like people around me by just being reactive and not having skills, not having, even though I went to counseling when I was a kid and stuff, like I still was raised in an environment where there were secrets. And so like that's really hard and confusing. And if you're an adult out there who thinks, oh, kids who go to counseling are, they're going to be in a safe place and they're going to be able to say something, but that's like not It's not how it works when you're a kid. Like you still know you have to go home. Like you cannot imagine a world where you're not getting in the car and going home and having to deal with whatever you said. And I had an experience, I had an upbringing where there were no secrets, really. Like, I thought I would have a secret, and then it, like, and I was, like, my memories of my own upbringing they leaned towards, like, an identity, like, of wearing this, like, cloak of bad, of like, the problem of the the burden. And oops, sorry. And so anyway, like, having all of those pieces a part of us as we walk through life, like, makes everything complicated. And so I know for me, as I navigated, like, recovery and stuff like that, like, there were aspects of my trauma and my past that I didn't want to bring up, and I didn't want to relive them. I didn't want to I didn't want to be considered a liability. And I mean, I guess it's really naive to think that, like, I would have been able to earn some kind of, like, like, street cred or something like that, considering the environment that I was in, which is cunning. Like, that's a word that they use, like, in anonymous groups, like, because alcoholism is cunning and baffling, and so are people and psychology. And so like, I went through a long period of my time, like, just not wanting to think about all of the parts of my past, and just wanting to not be a liability. And so that meant running and trying not to let my, like, negative consequences, trying not to let them bleed onto everybody, and then feeling like, well, okay, like, if I'm gonna be a person that, like, just causes destruction everywhere I go, then I'm just gonna look for bad people, because that way I'm not causing harm and destruction to good people, and, like, occasionally I would still do good things for good people, because, like, I still wanted to make sure, like, I had that in me, like, it sounds super dorky, and it probably sounds like, yeah, whatever, like, you're probably just want us to think, something good about you, but, like, I have witnesses, okay? Like, there was a chick that I knew, Ashley, and we even got in a fight, like, we were, like, in the hood, and we got in a fight, and, well, we were still, I think it was even after that we got in that fight, like, physical fight, and I laughed, because it's like, it's kind of like when you have sisters or, like, siblings and stuff, like, you kind of end up with these relationships with people on the streets that are, like, siblings. And but we walked by this house, and it was, like, really overgrown with, brambles and weeds and stuff like that, and was a little old lady lived there, and we were both, like, we looked at each other and we were like, dude, we could do this, like, we could freaking, like, we can help her, like, let's help her, and, like, like, we don't want anything in return, but we did want a drink of water. Like, it was really hot that day. I remember it being so hot, but, like, just knowing, it's not even knowing, it's, like, literally, like, an exchange of energy where we are doing good and being topped off or filled back up with some goodness, and You know, maybe it's wrong for someone who's thinking can only create chaos. Like, maybe it's wrong for them to think like, oh, okay, well, if I only cause harm, maybe I should find people, you know what I mean, like bad guys. Well, I learned along the way that that's not how the world is, but like, this was my reasoning in the beginning, and this is all part of the process of like who I am and the beliefs that I have now. And but anyway, and so, you know, like growing up, I was I might not have finished a sentence, I'm so sorry, I apologize. But I you know, like I grew up in an environment that was not healthy, and I have family that it really hurts them for me to say that. And I've been feeling like I'm between a rock and a hard place, because I don't know how to move forward and share the things that I know help the community, that are ugly pieces of me. And I don't like being scared of things, and I'm really mad at myself right now, but I have to get over it and just keep freaking trying. And so that's something I can do, you know, that's something I can do, is I can keep trying, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. But you know, like growing up, I mean, every human being is a beautiful human being, you know, like every human being is complex, and there is an innocent child in every single one of us, and there is a rebellious teen in every one of us, and there is a know-it-all freaking young adult in every one of us. And, you know, like there's, as you grow and you experience these eras in your life, like you should hopefully hold on to memories of that experience, so that you can still look through that lens and be a wise mind who can actually, you know, like talk the talk, you know. Like, you gotta have that wise mind, and that doesn't come from being perfect. It doesn't. And you know, I don't blame the adults in my life, like people might expect me to, and especially when I use words. Because so here's the thing, like, I'm gonna break it down. Like, in order for me to communicate to you, with you, I have to use words, right? So the words I use have been agreed upon for millions of years, no, thousands, I don't know. And so, you know, I only have the words that I have. I have concepts that take a lot of words that other languages might have one word for, you know, and that's just part of the language. Like, that's part of my capacity. And so like, I want to share all of my ideas, and I can only do it so well. And so, like, I just need I need you to give me the benefit of the doubt and know that I actively work on act right. I actively work on finding the best, least destructive way to proceed in life. And that is not currently a common thought process, but it is what it is, you know. But like the people that raised me were really cool people, you know, like really smart and you know, funny. And and in a lot of ways really open-minded, and you know, like but in a lot of ways, you know, like confusing. And that's the world we live in, you know, like we're all working on this wonky operating system, and you know, we're taught one thing, but then as we move forward in life, you know, we might learn like, oh, that thing is wrong. So we've got like all of these, like I like compare it to like a computer that has an operating system and then a bunch of updates, you know, like eventually you're gonna need to get a new operating system. Like that's not gonna work. It's not less sustainable. And so you know, like the people that raised me were just as dynamic as everybody else and doing the best they could, you know. And who knows, you know, like I have my memories, and I'm sure that every single person that you asked in one of my memories might have a different account or a different you know, like definition of something, or you know, like that was like into like the definitions. Like I have to yeah, use the words that I have, and might seem like I'm over explaining things because it doesn't feel like the word is quite right. And I think these are really important nuances that we're being conditioned to ignore. So the toxicity of growing up, I think, was a very natural biological one that we ignore. It's uncomfortable, and so we tend to want to ignore it, you know. As adults and as kids, we tend to, oh crap, I forgot, dang it. Yeah, but needless to say, there isn't need. I just said that, you need to say it. Excuse me. My understanding of people and thought processes and stuff like that come from a lot of time spent with people, a lot of people that were, you know, like we were in a really raw state of emotions. We were in a survival state, you know, state of being. And so you get like the real meat and potatoes with folks when you're in those kind of situations. And so getting to see like what real is, and then on top of it, see what fake is. Okay, that's the key. Okay, you cannot go to school and learn psychology if you're only around fake people all the time. Like fake as in trained and sophisticated and, you know, willing to mask their own thoughts and feelings and stuff like that to fit in. And it's something that is probably very necessary in a lot of social situations and aspects. But we also have a really, really big need for there to be a population of people who are not afraid to just be open and real and honest. Because when we're not being open and honest and real, people will continue to make the same mistakes over and over and over again. And it's literally not okay for us to judge them if they're not taught the right ways to handle things, or, you know, like, so that's like, I want to try to help teach ways. I'm not saying I have the only way. No. There are many ways to do things. Unfortunately, we happen to be in a society that's found a lot of ways not to do things. And so that's, I just want to like help open people's minds again. Like right now, when you guys are saying like, no, this is the way we do it, this is the way we do it, this is the way we do it, I'm guaranteed that's probably gonna be a huge problem in your life. Like that's gonna be, it's like a big boulder in the middle of a river. You throw them out there, you got the rapids, baby. Like, you know. And so those absolutes in your head that you're like, this is, it's got to be this way, it's got to be that way, that's it's necessary in worker culture, worker, you know, like when you have an assembly line, you need people to operate like that, you know. And that is a strength in itself. Like people who don't have that, like me, like I see that, and I see the strength in it, and I can see the aspects of my own life that suffer because I don't have that. And I have to get over it, you know what I mean? Like I personally, everybody else can do whatever they want, but like I have to, you know, look at my strengths. And so that's why I'm sitting here today, is because I need to honor those strengths. And that strength is all of the fucked up shit I've done, and my ability to be raw and real about it. And to, you know, really when it comes to the humiliation piece, I don't really feel humiliated. What it is I worry that things are going to come back on my kids, you know. I worry, or like any of my family, I worry that, you know, even if it's something that comes back on me, like that's going to affect my kids. And so that's what I worry about. So when it comes to them, like that's, you know, and that just admitting that, like to me feels like it makes me vulnerable to an evil in the world that would want to take the things that are important to, you know, to me away from me. And so I'm dealing with that. Because there are parts of me that I've shared openly with people, small groups, you know, small groups of people who can sit across from me and they can see me and feel my energy and see, you know what I mean? Like how the things that the decisions I've made have affected me because of the subject matter. I think the girls, oh yeah, they might be inside. They might have went around the back side though. Yeah, you can go check. Oh, you can't open it? Is it locked? Okay. Yeah, so I need to honor those parts of me that I'm really good at, and I'm not really good at, you know, like pushing through, some anxiety. I don't know, like it sucks. Like I can push through stuff that other people can't, you know, like I could get up and say things in front of people that other people would not be able to, you know. And I say that to remind myself, you know, like I do have value and I do have worth. And this isn't a thing to talk about my value and my worth because I want you to admire me, but I just want a chance, really. I just want a chance. I just want a chance to be heard and not thrown away. And, you know, that's something that we do to people and we don't mean to. And I know I've done it. Like, I don't want to. And this is how we stop that process. This is how I stopped hurting people, is I started getting real and I started sharing and being open and honest about it, and sharing it and being open and honest with strangers. And why? Because I don't want them to make the same mistakes. Like, I actually care about human beings, and a lot of my actions in the past would have convinced people otherwise. And I think that, you know, like I was given the opportunity. Are they in there? Okay. I was given the opportunity to live through things and survive things and I think. Okay. That's where my imagination is going to come to play later. But right now, I am speaking from, you know, like this current agreed upon collective reality where, you know, people are just messy people, and people make a lot of mistakes, and, you know, it's, there's no conspiracy, you know? So, because that's the majority of my energy goes into that, because that's where sanity lies in this community, this agreed upon society where we go to the store and we take care of our kids and we, you know, do all of those things. Like, so, my ability to share these things, it helped. Like, it helped people see, number one, that they are not alone in being a person who's made really bad choices. And number two, that you don't really have to hold on to that self-hatred. Yeah.
Are these mine?
No, they're Indies.
Why are these so tiny?
I know. Yeah, she's got tiny feet, girl. Your feet are gonna get bigger than hers. Yeah.
But why does she get gold?
Because you were at your dad's, you got stuff. Baby, I'm sorry. I can't. Yeah, like, Indy gets to have stuff too. Parenting. Don't remember. I'll rewind. Rewind. Yeah, but sharing intimate parts of my sins, you know, in a small group setting, like, I always felt like the Holy Spirit, God, you know, always led me to say exactly what I needed to say. Like, it was almost spooky sometimes, because I would be, you know, talking, and I would want to go. So I worked at a hospital, and I would go and talk to patients who were, like, in the psych ward, and, like, I learned it's best to, like, not really go over the notes a whole lot, which might seem counterintuitive, but that way you can go in and meet a person without any kind of judgment. Like, you want to give people a chance. Like, you don't know really if other people are just reporting some stuff. Like, you're going, a lot of stuff you go off of is what other people have reported. And so, like, I would go in and talk to people without really reading the notes first, and just kind of, like, feel it. And so there were times it would be spooky, because I would go in and talk to people, and, like, a lot of times it would turn into a little bit of a monologue, just because there's a lot, like, people can get really wrapped up in, like, what's happening and spin their wheels. And so I just want to interject as much as I can. Like, these are the things that I've gotten, you know, like, better at. These are things you could get better at. These are, you know, like, these are some ways that it could happen, and okay, like, let's talk, kind of a thing. And so, like being able to go back at the notes, like, and see, like, oh my, like, what? Dude, that's crazy. Like, totally just kind of, my thing just kind of naturally went that way. My thing, my, you know, like, my thought process and stuff. And so, when the airplane's back and it's gonna be in trouble. Hey now, the airplane's back. Just kidding. It just flies really low. I don't know, it's weird, but it's not really that bad right now. I've seen it really low before. What are you doing? I told Phoenix, like, maybe they're gonna crop dust. I don't know. And she laughed, because crop dusting is funny. But yeah, like, so, you know, like, there's like an intuition, you know, like, there's like a I think you kind of like start to have more confidence. I had more confidence in myself and like what, you know, I had to say, because it seemed like, you know, like the feedback I was getting was that it was really helpful. And so, you know, like working at the hospital was amazing. Like I was like, what is, like, how is this real life? Like, this is like, it's a God shot that like all of these things that I went through, you know. And like I went to college for a little while and I didn't finish my degree. Dude, seriously, I don't even want to talk about it. Like, and you know what? That's why I just keep going. Like, people might be like, how does she keep going? All of these things just keep going wrong. Are you kidding me? That's why I keep going. Because things keep going wrong. Just keep going, you guys. But like learning, you know, like to kind of like go with a different kind of sense, you know, like it's a different sense. It's not just the eyeballs and the earballs and the, you know, it's something else. And so like going through the work process was, you would think it would be really hard because of all the subject matter with people who are, you know, like in behavioral mental health crisis. And so, and it was, but there were themes. It seemed like sometimes there were kind of themes. And, you know, like having spent time in the drug world, there's a lot of, you know, like, there's a lot of mind games and manipulations and stuff like that. It's like psychological warfare. And, you know, like I'm working at this hospital and I'm like noticing these psychological warfare tactics and I'm like, what are they doing? And so like I just did what I learned on the streets, and that was to take a step back and, you know, give them a little here and there, you know, like knowing what kind of reaction they're looking for. And, you know, and it's not that it's impossible to have those reactions, because you kind of start to doubt reality, because you're like, okay, like I know what reality is, but these people are like acting this way and they keep saying this thing, and like that's like weird. And, you know, like just kind of like being able to be like, okay, I'm gonna take a step back. I'm kind of gonna watch it from, you know, like I gotta see, like I want to be mindful of my, you know, like my behavior and stuff like that, but I also want to make sure that I'm not putting all of my energy into like believing this narrative that's being presented. And so the themes, though, like they just continued and they just got more and more. And, you know, I think because of my long standing on the streets, like I learned a lot of skills and tools to survive and to catch what's really going on, because you want to find out, you kind of want to get to know, like, these people safe, like what is happening, why are they saying these things, like you notice like their people's behavior around other people, and then see something go down and like somebody is getting busted or somebody, you know, and you're just like storing these things, and you're like, huh, okay, like that's shady and that's messed up and that was just downright freaking evil. And, you know, like sometimes you gotta fight fire with fire, and, you know, like I'll admit it, and I think that scares people. There are probably people out there who are like, you know, like number one, it's a long time ago. Like, y'all need to get over it, okay? If people are gonna get mad about shit that happened 20 freaking years ago, like, you got control issues. Get the fuck over it, you know? Like, I'm not running around saying, like, oh, so-and-so cheated on their spouse, or, you know, like, I'm talking about things that people probably already got arrested for, you know? Like, it's public knowledge. Like, I'm not running around telling things that, you know, like, especially things are gonna fall, like, well, first of all, everything's been such a long time ago. Everything is outside of statute of limitations. Like I always got the feeling like people looked at me like I was a fed, like, so, which is probably helpful because there was a lot of really extreme subject matter that I was able to avoid. So I'll just put that out there. Like, I'm probably why. It sucked in the moment, feeling like, why people don't fucking trust me. Like, it is probably used strategically, though, to get us to do more extreme things. But, you know, the extreme things that I did do, I'm totally willing to be open and honest about. And, you know, like, there have been people that I haven't just outright told things to because of maybe age appropriateness, or, you know, just appropriateness, and, you know, and so, and you know, things about, sexual stuff that I haven't always been really open about. And I mean, that's one of my own personal opinions, is like, that is like it needs to be one or the other. Either it's going to be fully private, you know, and we teach children to strictly no, or we agree that we're going to be open and honest so that we can teach kids no, you know, like, it's that in between where we're getting in trouble. But, like, we got a lot of kids out there thinking totally different upbringings are okay, and then they turn into adults, and then they're expected to work together, and we're supposed to have a cohesive freaking, you know, society. That's kind of hard, but it's not impossible. It's just more difficult. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, I don't want stuff to come back on my kids. Some things, like, I have speculations, you know, like, some of my understandings on life in general are based on speculations, because it's that exercise of creative thinking, you know. It's like, I've done things that are I was doing the best I could, and knowing what I know today, my life would be 1,000 times different. And that's a really bittersweet thing to admit to, because I have beautiful, wonderful children that would not exist if, you know, like, I had made other choices. And so I absolutely contribute a lot of my, you know, like, choices. I mean, you know, like, I attribute my childhood to the majority of my choices. And I don't mean that in a way that's like, oh, poor me, like, I should be a person that's able to just do whatever I want and just, like, do mean bad things to people. And, you know, like, even just saying that is, like, icky. I don't think that. I don't. Sorry, God. But you know, like, growing up without my biological mom was different, you know, but being with only one biological parent wasn't that different, you know. And so like, I think there's a lot of biological, like, hormonal kind of processes that go on in us that are being ignored and denied because of social expectations, because of the definitions that we've attached to words and concepts. Like, damn it. I know I'm hungry. I'm at 51 minutes. But I'm not the only person that's made these kind of choices. And the reason why I say I know we're all doing the best we can is because I've gotten to talk to so many people, and being in a position I was in, like talking about really vulnerable things, like I really got a really good consensus of I got a dial on the pulse of Americans, you know, or at least out here in the Pacific Northwest, and can see similarities and see vast gaps in belief systems and, you know, like social supports and stuff like that. And you know, all of that goes into our belief system and our, you know, like our behaviors. And when I say, like, I believe that my childhood, you know, affected my choices, I say that because, not because I want a pass, is because I think childhood is very, very important. I need to spit that out before you get lost in the weeds and think like, what are you saying? Like, that's why I have a lot of words. I'm sorry to like explain a piece, because it's all built upon each other. Like, it's a brick on brick on brick on brick, you know, like in order to get to that concept, like you need to know all of these other ones. And so, yeah, like, I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna stop this, and I'm gonna eat, and I'll come back.